Hi. Oh my goodness. This reading was so delayed for many reasons. And this evening, my cat Lizzie, after I had set up the table, which it doesn't sit here all of the time, so I set up the table, had the cushion on it and everything, and then she decided that, well, she needed to bless the space. I did take a photo of her, which I've posted on the, I guess, is it the post page? Was it ever called a community page? I can't recall. Anyway, so this is a reading for now, whenever now would be for you. And this time, it's interesting from the last read to this one. Actually, a crystal, a stone, called to me through my eye pretty soon after that read, and it was this black kyanite. Well, then maybe a day or so passed, and a second stone, I walked into the room and it was glowing. It was glowing, and I wasn't necessarily thinking of it as something I would use in a reading, but yes, so this one drew my eye. And then a couple of days later, another one did. So I gave it some thought. Initially, I thought, well, I'll just stick with the first one. And then I realized, well, perhaps there's reason for having three call out. Perhaps they can be read or experienced almost as a sentence. So let's see how that goes. I haven't really touched these stones much at all, except to move them from where they were sitting to right here. So I didn't want to add any energy or get any preconceived ideas of what I might say. But I do have experience with each of these in some regard. So I'm going to start with the first one that that drew my eye. I'm so sorry. Before that, I'll probably pull a few cards from some oracle decks. And if I do that, I'll be sure to put a link in the post for any decks I use. Okay, so I think that's it for what I need to say. Okay, here we go. So this is black kyanite, and it's actually a stone. Where? No, I carry, oh, I actually carry a very small specimen with me most times if I have pockets. And, well, being female, pockets are not always the thing in the clothing, but I try to always have pockets. And black kyanite is it's a highly protective energy. Ooh, and this one's quite strong. In one thing I know about it, that's written about it, is especially when it's in this type of formation, kind of like that. It's referred to as the witch's broom, and I think that would mean just it sweeps away anything that one does not wish to have in their energy field, and it certainly is a stone of that. It is less so a shielding protective stone. It's less about having a shield around it. Instead, it pulls one to feel their own strength, to be their own shield. And this one, I mean, honestly, it pretty much goes from my feet throughout my body. And it's very body oriented. It doesn't feel very heady at all. And, but, yeah, so in short, I would say this would be a stone. This is a stone to help one develop their own inner mechanisms for being their own strength, their own shield, their own advocate, and in a really nice way. It's not an angry feeling. It's just a feeling of, well, sovereignty, actually, and strength. It brings to mind like a knight, in history or in the story, and in a story that just very noble and very strong, and believing in the value of, well, since I'm holding this, the value, or someone would be holding it, the value in oneself, or for one's, I don't want to say cause, but anyway, so I'm going to stop there because I don't want to ramble too much, more than I have, 6 minutes. The next stone I was drawn to is this one, and this is a quartz crystal. Actually, you can see on the back it's not quite as coated, but it has a coating of this yellow-orange is a coating of iron, which is also very protective. And now the feeling I get from this one is much more up through here, and I do feel that bringing down energy from one's higher self, maybe one's guides, and really pulling it into the body, like really grounding it in, that it's not something that just stays swimming around in the head, but it's something that gets pulled in to be lived in a very physical way, but at the same time calling on the energies of one's higher self. It does feel to be a call to include more of oneself in one's being all of the time. It's interesting. I did I think it was the last one I did on the stone. I did a much lighter version of this. It's a cluster, and that was actually much more up here. It was much more heady. It was still about bringing it down into physical embodiment, but this darker color, and because it has more iron, just really feels pulled into the being much more. Lastly, this one is called a flower agate, and I cannot do this one justice. I don't think. I mean, you can't really see all the beautiful colors. There are pinks, there are some greens, and there's even some translucent areas. It's so pretty. I was honestly drawn to it initially because, well, it was just so pretty, and it just made me feel like I was looking at a lily pond, lotuses. It reminded me a lot of a Monet painting, and the feel of it is, well, it's like a Monet painting. It's very soothing. It's very gentle. In my experience with this, which was surprising to me, it actually helps one to be more fully in contact with people that one interacts with. So I feel like it enhances telepathic communication, so that it's not just words we're sharing, but like it becomes a bigger message, and there's a bigger interaction and exchange. And I'm holding it, and well, it does feel really good in the heart. It truly does. And when I look at the three crystals that I was drawn to speak about this evening, and after I just said the things I did, I realized that the message, perhaps, is that from the crystals, or from whatever higher self, whatever. The message is to embody more of oneself, more of one's strength, and in a very noble and very grounded way, to embody more of one's being that extends beyond our physical form, and to embody more in our interactions with each other. So yeah, that's what I got. I didn't practice that part. I'm hoping to do this in one take, so I'll just leave it there. I want to actually use a deck that I purchased recently. It's this one, and of course, as I said, I'll put a link. And so the cards are really interesting. I did shuffle in advance, and these tend to tell a story. The one card would be fine. We'll just see how it goes, and go from there. All right, let's try this. Oh, there we go. There's our one. Let me just finish shuffling this part. Okay. Oh, home. Let's try to get this a little. Try to do an angle so that you can see it without the glare. Wow, home is a very rich place. Much, much history. Much history. I am going to take two more, I believe, because I would love to see the story. So let me put that here. Now, I didn't read. I'm not really using the guidebook, but I did read the kind of preamble of the guidebook, and so they the cards go 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to go with that, and there we are. Oh, that's nice. Okay, then just let me put them this way so I can really see. Well, I just do see such a blossoming. And it is interesting because in some way, I mean, there's so many messages one could glean from these three cards with the images. But let me try to pull them with the stones. I would take this one as the home with the kyanite, the black kyanite. because look at this stone. Look how intricately gnarled it is. I mean, it's not gnarled, it's beautiful, it's a gorgeous specimen, but it's complex. There's so much history here, and there's so much strength, and look how strong this structure is. It's not only fortified by its by the stone, the mortar, but even the plants, even the animals that find little spaces. It's part of the dwelling. It's part of the strength. And yes, it does feel quite impenetrable, but not in a mean way, not in a very gentle way, assured way. And also I got a real strong feeling of introspection here. Yeah. Okay. And then we're moving on to metamorphosis. And what I like about this card, and I'll use it in conjunction with the second stone. Well, first of all, the colors are on point, right? But look from above, like there's all this transformation going on from above. And feeding into the experience of these two here. These two, I don't know what they are. They're interesting. But we do see the transformation in these, in the butterfly, in the stages of the butterfly. And yeah, I do feel like this card, in conjunction with this stone, that there is a metamorphosis of the outer, of how we receive. I kind of feel on a collective level as well, messages and connections from our greater selves, and that it is time for it to come into being, into our beings, into our day-to-day, not as just something extra that we do when we're not doing, the day-to-day, that it becomes the day-to-day, becomes just second nature, just like a new limb that is a benefit to us. Okay, and lastly, and I think this is really pretty with this stone, we have come together. And yeah, and this, well, gosh, it so goes with the telepathy and the communication and the communication, not only on the physical, but on a high, I'm sorry, I keep using the word higher, but on a greater level of being, between us, between the people we know, and even the people we don't know that well, that maybe, hopefully, in this time, our communication can expand to more than words. Yeah. Let me, I don't know that. I think I'm going to just. This is a hard choice. It's a hard choice. I am going to use this deck. I've never used this deck before. We're going new, people. I'll use this one. Now I'll just choose one card, and there is a message on the card. And I will read that. So here we go. Oh, okay. This is, well, it's a very pretty image. Let me try to get a little closer. Hearts and stars, nothing bad about that. And it's the blessed treasure within. Okay, so here we go. The blessed treasure within, the qualities you admire in others, you also possess. There is a treasure within you. This card is here to help you reconnect with the well of wisdom, creativity, and beauty inside of you. It is time to shine your light. I think that's a perfect message for these crystals. And you know what? I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy your now. Enjoy your tomorrow.